So you want to get an over-under shotgun, but you don't want to pay the crazy price tag that usually comes along with them. Well, I might have just the thing for you. I'm Jeremy with Poindexter G, and today we've got a Yildiz SPZ ME over-under shotgun. The Yildiz shotgun that we're going over today is the over-under model. If you are interested in their semi-auto shotgun, I have a separate video on that. Yildiz makes a bunch of really inexpensive shotguns. This particular one here runs about $400, which is really cheap for an over-under. But is it any good? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at everything on it and see what we got. We'll start with the markings on this one. As you can see here, it is Yildiz Silas Sinai Birder Turkey SPZ ME20. This shows that it can take 20 gauge up to 3-inch Magnum rounds. And it also has Academy Limited, Katy, Texas. The reason that Academy is listed here is because Academy is the importer. They have a deal with Yildiz where they are the exclusive seller for Yildiz products in the United States. So that's why you only see them on the shelves at Academy. Being that this is an over-under shotgun, and it is like all double barrel shotguns, a breech loader, there's not really a whole lot going on here as far as the controls. We'll start with the safety right here, which is located on the tang. The safety on this model is one that slides forwards and backwards. It does have a marking on it for safe, a green S. When it's slid forward, you get the red dot, meaning that it is in fire. You'll notice when it's back in the safe position that the safety can slide from the left to the right. What that does is select which chamber will fire first, either the upper or the lower. Now for the life of me, I never can keep straight if left is up or right is up, so you'll have to figure that out on your own. To load it, we'll have to break it open. That will be done with this lever right here. Even though it looks like it can go either direction, it can only push to the right, so push and hold to the right, and then she breaks open. Once you have it open, to load it, you basically just drop the shells in and close it up. One nice thing about these is when you open it up, it will kick out spent shells, but it will not kick out the unfired ones. It's also worth mentioning on here the markings that they have put it on here, which are basically meant to emulate the engravings that you have on the high-end shotguns. And while this isn't done at the same quality as your really expensive ones, it is a nice touch on there to give this a little bit more of the look of a nice hunting weapon. As far as what all comes with this in the box, there's not a whole lot. You basically got the shotgun, the chokes, and a choke key. Now if you're not familiar with it, the point of a choke is to basically restrict the size of the shot coming out there. You can make it pattern larger or smaller at different ranges by putting in different chokes in there. To take the chokes in and out of the shotgun, you'll basically take your choke key, you're going to put it inside the grooves here on the choke, and you'll basically just thread it in and out. Now you'll see that my friend that owns this has been shooting the number 4 choke in the top barrel and the number 5 in the bottom. As you look at these, you'll see that number 1 is the largest choke and number 5 is the smallest. Now one of the advantages of an over-under is that because it has 2 barrels on it, you're able to put a different choke in each barrel. So that way you can put a tighter choke to hit the first target and then a more open one to hit the second. To put the chokes back in, it's basically just reversing the process. Put it in, thread it by hand as much as you can, and then use the tool to put it in all the way. Now I'll show you disassembly, which is actually pretty simple on one of these. We're going to take this part out right here just by grabbing this, pulling that up, and then sliding the foregrip off. The next thing you'll do is go ahead and do like you normally do when you're going to break it open, but instead of it just going open, it comes apart. Now reassembly isn't all that difficult as long as you know the trick to get it back together. If you don't, it can be a bit of a pain. Basically we're going to have this knob right here, which goes into a groove right here. Basically we'll just put that knob right there by the groove. You notice it actually sits a little bit above the groove. But as you fold it back together, it locks into place. Then all we have to do is put this back on. Right in here, this lever just controls that little spring-loaded thing right there. That'll line up with this. Just put that in, pull up the lever, set it down, and it locks into place. So let's go ahead and roll some of that shooting footage. Hey! Pull! Ow! Pull! Now you go ahead and it's 12. Hit it again! Yeah! So what are my general thoughts on this? Well, it is pretty light. It doesn't weigh as much as the other over-unders, and so it doesn't do quite as good a job of mitigating the recoil, so it does have a good bit of kick to it. Although it is really well balanced when you pick it up. It feels like it just wants to point right where you aim it at, and that's good. When they're new, the break open is really stiff, and it also takes it a good 30 to 50 rounds before it starts kicking all the empties out consistently. But I think it does generally a pretty good job, and if you're not really trying to do competitive shooting all the time and just want to go out and enjoy it some, I think it could be really great for you. Now, since they're right about the same price, one thing I see a lot of people question is whether they should get the over-under or the semi-auto. Well, let me go ahead and put both of them up here, and we'll talk about both of these a little bit and help you decide which one's going to be best for you. So I've got here the Yildiz A71 semi-auto to go along with the over-under. Semi-auto is mine, the over-under is a friend's. This one, the semi-auto, is also a 12 gauge and not a 20, so that's a little bit of the difference in the scale between the two of them. The big differences you'll notice in these is that the over-under has a capacity of 2 rounds and the semi-auto has a capacity of 5 rounds plus possibly 1 into chambers, so you can put more rounds into this one. Now that may not matter a whole lot for you depending on what you're doing. The next big difference you'll see between them is going to be how simple or difficult they are to operate. Now the over-under is stupid simple to use. You basically break it open to load it, you close it, turn it off of safe, the fire, you shoot your 2 rounds, and then you're done. You want to empty it? Well, just break it open, it'll kick them out, and it also shows that you're empty really clear. You can leave it sitting down like this, and anyone can tell. People that don't know anything about guns can tell that thing is empty. There's nothing in there. The semi-auto, however, gets a little bit more difficult to use because you've got all these rounds sitting here in the magazine tube. You've got to try to take them all out, but then you have to lock this into place and pull that back to eject the next one out of there. It's just got all this stuff going on with it, and it's a bit more complicated to use. I mean, it just takes a few more extra steps to show that it's empty. As far as how they shoot, the balance on the over-under seems a little bit better than what you have on the semi-auto. Although the semi-auto action, with all the moving parts in it, takes a lot of the recoil out of it by putting it into there. You have all of the recoil transferred on the over-under, so you get a little bit more kick out of it there. A couple of things worth adding to it are going to be a nice butt pad on there to take a lot of the recoil off. This does add to the length of pull, so that might make it not fit quite right for you. I also have a hard time picking up the bead on mine, and have put this nice fiber optic sight on there, but that can be done on one of these just the same as the semi-auto. So that's my review of the Yildiz over-under. I think if you're not a super serious shooter, that this could be a really great gun for you without having to drop a ton of money into it. So hopefully this video was helpful for you here to learn a little bit more about the over-under and to get a little bit more information to help you decide between the 2 different types of shotguns. If you like this video, be sure to like or comment. You can also subscribe to my channel to make sure that you don't miss any of the videos that I post. I'm Jeremy with Poindexter G, and we'll see you next time.